As the global warming and its consequences increase constantly, solutions must be taken. Unfortunately, countries over the world do not really have a global and long-term plan for the world. As the term energy transition is nowadays stated everywhere, it must be developed and linked with economy and society model. The International Energy Agency, in its World Energy Outlook published in 2021, a report on energy transition, highlight possible long-term scenarios. These scenarios, based on rigorous modeling and analysis, are the four following. The net zero emission by 2050, or NZE, target to achieve net zero CO2 emissions by 2050. The Announced Pledges Scenario, or APS, is based on the promises made by governments and suppose they will exactly follow them. The Stated Policy Scenario, or STEPS, analyze each sector and base its target on the potential achievements of recent developments in energy and climate policy. The Sustainable Development Scenario, or SDS, is pretty similar to NZE. The slight difference is that SDS depends on the evolution of the country. In these scenarios, several aspects are important enough to be stated and studied one by one. Among them, the necessity to keep in mind the human-induced warming of 1.5 Celsius degrees above pre-industrial levels as a maximum value that must not be exceeded. For this purpose, important changes have to be achieved all over societies. The main aspect of this report is the need of designing a new energy economy. More than climate policy or energy transition, the entire economy model must be rethought. However, these changes will not take place without the resources required. If a successful energy transition is wanted, governments and private companies need to radically increase their investments in it. Without financial support, this energy economy and society model will not occur. As the main resource, the involvement of people will be more than ever required. In the report, all the scenarios include people, their habits and behaviors. We, as people, must change our daily life to enable the entire society to change. These personal changes are at the level of responsibility as consumers, citizens, and humans as part of a whole. However, to want people getting involved is not enough. Providing them with the possibility to participate is essential. With this in mind, all the prices and costs must be managed by nations so they stay affordable for households.
Transport has the highest reliance on fossil fuels of any sector and accounts for 37% of CO2 emissions from end-use sectors. We need to encourage modal shifts to the least carbon-intensive travel options and operational and technical energy efficiency measures to reduce the carbon intensity of all transport modes. In addition to being 2 to 4 times more efficient than conventional internal combustion engine models, EVs can reduce reliance on oil-based fuels and, if running on low-carbon power, can deliver significant reductions in greenhouse gas emissions. Plus, with zero tailpipe emissions, EVs are well suited to help solve air pollution issues. Moreover, EVs are driving advances in battery technology, a key issue for industrial competitiveness in the transition to clean energy. More than 10 million electric cars were on the world's roads in 2020, with battery electric models driving the expansion. The global electric passenger car stock has increased from 7 million to 10.2 million in 2020. Today, we have mainly two electrified segments. The 2- and 3-wheelers at more than 20%, they are the most electrified road transport segment today. They are lightweight, the short driving distances are very optimal because they require small batteries and are very easy to set up. The light-duty vehicles, LDVs, are also conducive to the electrification segment. Their number will increase by 8% per year against 1% today, to reach 140 million vehicles in 2030. And now, what about the future? In the future, the most electrified segments will be: first, the buses. They are expected to electrify faster than LDVs and attain over 65% sales share in the SDS scenario. We also have LDVs, from a 10 million fleet in 2020 to a 140 million fleet by 2030, with an 8% increase per year by 2030. And we also have the 2- and 3-wheelers, from 25 million vehicles to 50 million by 2030. They will represent more than half of all sales by 2030. To allow the development of these segments, it requires the installation in residential and commercial charging stations, because they are seen as key to accelerating electric vehicles adoption across the continent. The locations that you choose for your EV charging stations should have a solid GPRS data connection. Stations should be easy to access, with parking possible from different directions. During the manufacture of lithium-ion batteries, GHG emissions mainly emerge from the emission-intensive mining and refining of the cathode minerals. Moreover, the battery manufacture causes significant emissions, as the battery assembly must be carried out in non-humid, climate-controlled rooms. The mining of the cathode minerals are responsible for a wide range of social and environmental issues. Significant parts of these minerals are mined in Russia or the Democratic Republic of Congo, where environmental or human rights are difficult to guarantee. The cathode minerals are imported into the EU, and they represent significant supply risks for lithium and cobalt.